A very good morning to one and all. I hope you and your loved ones are doing well during these uncertain times. My name is Swati and I welcome you all on behalf of Energy Swaraj Foundation for the Student Solar Ambassador 2020. Energy Swaraj Foundation is a not-for-profit organization formed to establish Energy Swaraj, that is energy by locals for locals. The world today is at crossroads of a contradictory energy scenario, wherein on one hand, energy access has to be provided to billions, while on the other hand, increasing usage of energy is causing catastrophic climate change. And it is the young generation that is going to bear the burden of the climate change the most. The Student Solar Ambassador program was started in 2018 with an aim to sensitize and train young students in solar energy as well as mitigating climate change. After 3 Guinness World Records and reaching over a million students, the Student Solar Ambassador Workshop is adopting role of youth in attaining Atmanirbhar Bharat in energy this year. One of the major highlights of the previous 2 editions of Student Solar Ambassador program was the hands-on training wherein the students were trained to make their own solar study lamps. How much ever we would love to see our young ambassadors playing with the solar technology, given the current scenario and the well-being of everyone, we have decided to stick to the online version of the event this year. And we are very happy to see such an overwhelming and enthusiastic participation from you all. More than 15,000 students have registered and joined us for this event today. Also, today is 2nd October, that is 151st Gandhi anniversary. Let us start with paying a tribute to father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhiji was one of the biggest propagators of sustainable living and development. He always propagated consumption of energy without disturbing and compromising the future generations' resources. Gandhi has rightly said that earth provides enough for every man's need, but no one's greed. What we feel today is the best way to pay a tribute to the father of our nation is follow his principles and adopt it in our everyday living. Let us all take a pledge today on 151st Gandhi anniversary that we will all work and follow his path to bring a better tomorrow. Let us start this session with a positive note. What I request each of our participants to do is start with a prayer wherever they are. We will start with an Om chanting now. Please close your eyes and start with the prayer.
So let us do the Om chanting wherever we are. Let us pray. Today is the 2nd October, and also let us pray for the goddess Saraswati. So we'll just do the Om chanting. Close your eyes. Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे पीड़ पराई जाने रे. These are the words of Mahatma Gandhi. And today, when we set out to discuss about the climate change, about the energy, and what are the things that we can do to ensure that the life on the planet is sustainable. The people who are consuming energy, the people who are their actions are resulting in a climate change, I think it is very important to understand the pain that will happen to the mother nature itself, the global warming, and all the side effect that is associated with it. So, what could be the better day than the celebration of the Mahatma Gandhi Jayanti? What could be the better way to understand the pain that others, the neighbors, the planet, the young children who are coming to this planet and who are going to come to this planet will feel? And therefore, it is very important to celebrate Mahatma Gandhi Jayanti with his principles and ideals. And if we can adopt that in our life, nothing like that. So we are going to discuss that more and more today. I'll hand over to Swati to take you through the agenda and get to our first speaker.
Thank you, sir. So let us begin the session today on a very positive note. To begin with, I would like to display the agenda of today's event and run you through this very quickly. Today we have a 3-hour power-packed session wherein prominent personalities from energy, environment, and education will address the audience today. Apart from these, we also have a wide array of competitions and quizzes lined up. Apart from this, you will also get to learn and upgrade your solar skills. So, without any further ado, let's start with our first speaker. I would like to welcome Dr. Vijay Raghavan. Dr. Vijay Raghavan is the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India. Dr. Raghavan is a distinguished professor and former director of National Center for Biological Sciences. He was conferred with Padma Shri in the year 2013, followed and also is a recipient of Infosys Prize in Life Sciences category 2009. Sir, I request you to kindly inaugurate the session and address our participants with some encouraging words. Over to you, sir.
Namaskar, good morning, and thank you very much. As we heard from Swati and Professor Chetan Singh Solanki, this is a very, very important day. It is the birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. And it's absolutely right. The many ideals of Gandhiji regarding the environment and regarding concern for others and for the well-being not only of humans but of the planet are very important for us, not only to understand but to follow. You know, it is very important for us also to see why we are where we are today and how we came to be here and what is the way out. During the course of human civilization, as humans formed societies, as they formed first agricultural societies and then formed industrial societies, it is important for us to see that we started doing two things simultaneously. First was to understand nature and its complexities. We gazed at the stars, we looked at, whether we could domesticate plants and animals, and so on. And this led to an increase in commerce in multiple ways and an increase in human well-being. Looking at the stars, we learned how to navigate the seas, trade better, and get more resources for us. Different societies specialized in creating different kinds of resources, amplifying trade. Similarly, the domestication of plants and animals dramatically changed nature. In other words, we who are the products of nature's engineering started becoming engineers of nature even before we understood the fundamental principles of science and engineering. In other words, engineering nature is human nature. Humans have been doing that, building bridges, building cities, even before the fundamentals of physics were clearly understood, or we knew very little. Over time, as this started taking an exponential growth and a life of its own, human ingenuity and talent grew enormously. Not only did we use language and culture to learn exponentially rapidly and to use that for engineering, we started building tools which were similar to our minds in many ways. not yet there, but similar. So we built calculators, computers, and now faster and faster computers, which have very large memory and very high speed. This again extends our capability beyond our brains enormously. Now, this situation had another component, which is a very negative one. In our attempt to improve our lives or make profit, we made products which were very relatively inexpensive now. And to do that, we did two things. We did not pay attention to the
You
environment.
can talk, spotlight.
We did not pay attention to the environment, and we did not pay attention to biodiversity and human uh, social well-being. In other words, we are getting cheap products now, but the future is paying for it. And this future has caught up with us. The consequences of climate change, greenhouse gases, and the reduction in biodiversity are with us now. And now we have to attend to that. Now, there is no easy way out. We, of course, have an increase in renewable energy, which is very good. But when we do that, we must remember that this will not come for free. We have to invest in it, and these costs will result in many of our lives becoming more expensive, but it will save the future. Where does this subsidy come from? This subsidy must come from those who are well-to-do today, rich governments, rich countries, rich industry, and rich individuals all over the world. If we do that and develop technology which is much more climate friendly, society friendly, and human friendly, we will go a long way. Now, solar technology, for example, is a very good route in that direction. India's petroleum import bill is enormous. Our LPG, which is much better than other forms of cooking, still has a huge import component. And there are many aspects of our lives where we are heavily subsidizing by, but also importing large resources. Solar energy and other forms of renewable energy, including other forms of energy such as nuclear energy, potentially offer a way out. So an energy portfolio which includes multiple components.
Scroll down the title of the workshop on the screen and look.
While solar energy can actually
Workshop.
but so I think could others kindly mute, please, because there's some crosstalk. Yeah. So solar energy provides an enormous way out. But remember that there's a hidden component to solar energy which we must keep in mind, which is many of the components, the cells, the panels, many other aspects are important. Therefore, our research must focus on reducing the import component of those and going ahead. The second component relates to solar energy is its generation. While it can be very high, it is, of course, generated during the day, and therefore its use during the night is a challenge. And there are many storage ways to get out of that challenge. But also putting back on the grid distribution, high technologies of grid management become very, very critical. In that context, we should also explore technologies which are derived from the consequences of having power, such as having solar energy, and therefore look at ways by which, for example, through hydrogen generation, other mechanisms of storage, we can conserve the energy for future use. This becomes particularly important in poorly accessible regions, in regions where or times of the year where solar is not available, or times of the day, and therefore those technologies need to be done. India has invested enormously in these areas through the mission innovation. This needs to grow, and this needs to be imbibed by our youth all over the country. That's why I would like to congratulate all of you, Professor Solanki and his team, for putting together this Student Solar Ambassador workshop, and for the specific meeting on the role of youth in attaining Atmanirbhar Bharat in energy. Congratulations, and thank you very, very much for having me here.
So thank you very much, Professor Raghavan. hand over to Swati.
Thank you so much, Dr. Raghavan, for taking out time and starting off this session with such a inspiring and encouraging word for all our participants. Thank you, sir. Moving ahead, I would like to welcome our next speaker, Dr. Chetan Singh Solanki. Dr. Chetan Singh Solanki is a professor at Department of Energy Science and Engineering at IIT Bombay. Fondly referred to as the Solar Gandhi by many, he was called the Solar Man of India by Times of India, India Today, and The Hindu. With his rich experience in solar energy, he is an innovator, educator, entrepreneur who has now started off Energy Swaraj Foundation to enable energy by local for local. Known for his remarkable work in the solar energy, I now welcome Professor Solanki to address the audience and introduce them to Energy Swaraj Foundation, followed by uh, current energy scenarios in India and worldwide, and also the dimensions of climate change. Professor Solanki will join us on the other side of the video introduction. Thank you.
All right. Good morning once again. Uh, uh, Let me begin with introducing you the Energy Swaraj Foundation and why it is founded and what we are going to do that. And so the motto of Energy Swaraj Foundation is energy by locals for locals. And in this world, when we are looking at such a complex scenario of energy, it is very important that we understand that. And I keep saying always that in the today's world, everything has become energy. And therefore, it is not wrong to say that energy is everything and everything is energy, isn't it? In our day-to-day life, whether it is morning, evening, afternoon, whether we are sleeping, not sleeping, working, not working, every time we are consuming energy in one form or other form. So so everything around us has become energy, and therefore, right uh, energy or the positive energy is important, and that is also applicable to the energy sources that we're using it. But what we have realized over a period of time that the manner we have evolved, the society has evolved in the world, has actually going in somewhat not right direction, and that is why we see the climate change. So I would like to bring here on this Gandhi Jayanti the two fundamental principles of sustainability. By the way, these are not the principle that I have founded, but whatever Gandhiji said, I have kind of free written in a manner that it is understood. Gandhiji was not a scientist like Einstein or Newton, and therefore he did not formulate the laws as Newton did and Einstein did. But Gandhiji said things which are applicable to generations and generations and the entire world. So the first thing Gandhiji said we should understand is that Earth provides enough to satisfy everyone's need, but not everyone's greed. And that is so fundamental because everything in the planet is limited. The soil, water, forest, river, everything is limited in the quantity. And therefore, our consumption should also be limited in the quantity. And therefore, we can call the first fundamental law of sustainability as an ecosystem of finite resources. There has to be a finite consumption, isn't it? The Gandhiji also said that not the mass production, but production by masses is required. Because whenever we do the mass production, the benefit of the whole thing always goes to the very limited set of people. On the other hand, if we do the production by masses, the benefits is distributed among the society. And therefore, the second fundamental law of sustainability could be that in an ecosystem of finite resources, there has to be a distributed production. There has to be distributed production. But on the other hand, what we are trying in the world today is bigger centralization, bigger factory, bigger concentration of wealth and the production, which is really not going to make the world as a peaceful society. So the gap between the haves and have not is actually increasing with time, and therefore it is very high time that we adopt this second fundamental law of sustainability to have a distributed production. And I'm calling this laws because once you say it is a law of nature, you cannot violate these laws. And if you're going to violate these laws, we are going to suffer in the long run. So the beautiful messages that was given by Gandhiji was really amazing. And therefore, to spread this message, can we not have the localized generation and consumption of energy? Can we not produce locally and consume locally? And with this idea or this two fundamental principle, it is very clear that our consumption has to be constrained and it has to be localized. So when we want to have a constrained consumption and a localized consumption, that is what the Energy Swaraj is. And we follow this principle, we can actually be very much buy local for local. And we at IIT Bombay have been doing a lot of experiment in this regard. We have, for example, realized that why can't a local community be trained to assemble their own solar lamp, repair it, maintain it, sell it, everything. So we have done this project Souls, sponsored by the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Government of India. And we have trained about 10,000 women and we have reached to 40,000 villages. All these women assembled the lamps, repaired the lamp, distributed the lamp, sold the lamp, and it has become a very successful program which got many awards, including the Prime Minister's Award, including IEEE Grand Global Award, and very recently the CSIR Award for Science and Technology for Rural Development. So it has been proven that if we localize the solution, the benefits are many, including the benefits of skill development, social development, women empowerment, local economy strengthening, the technology know-how spreading, the independence from the energy, and above all, the mitigation from the climate change. So these are the very good way to do it. And that's why to do this, we have established this Energy Swaraj Foundation. So last year, when we got this award of $100,000 from IEEE, we have used that money and founded the Energy Swaraj Foundation, which is a not-for-profit organization. Now, it is also clear that when we are trying to address the problem, which is very big, we also need to have a big targets. And the Energy Swaraj Foundation for itself has set up a target to reach this, to bring this awareness about energy and the climate change connectivity to about 1 billion people. We are going to train 100 million people, give the hands-on training. We are also kind of collaborating with AICTE. You will hear more about that. We are going to bring people off the grid so that we can become disciplined consumer of the energy. So there is a plan for 10 million household to bring off the grid. We are going to do all this thing with the help of the local community. I also believe that the problem of the climate change is so big that the programs and the policies are not going to be enough. And it is true all over the world, not the government of India, but all the governments are actually focused so much in their local things and hand, immediate things and hand. It is very difficult to focus on the long term, which requires the global uh, efforts in the climate change mitigation. And therefore, I believe that it has to be a movement. So Energy Swaraj needs to become a movement. It has to become a public movement so that the public at large can take part and play important role. And therefore, as a part of Energy Swaraj Foundation, one of the most important mission that we have in our hand is asking people to surrender electricity connection and go 100% solar. And also, there is no planet B. We know that in the entire universe, there is only planet A, the mother Earth, and we need to save it and protect it and do everything possible. What I have done is I have taken a leave from IIT Bombay, thanks to the institute for providing me such a leave, and I am going to take up the Energy Swaraj Yatra, which will go up to 2030. So from this year onwards till 2030, I will be going with a solar bus all around the country, talking to as many people as possible. So I hope everybody will join and help in creating the Energy Swaraj movement. So with this, I hope you got the idea about what Energy Swaraj is and what the Energy Swaraj Foundation is going to do. I really call upon everyone who is listening to become the part of the Energy Swaraj movement, and let us together achieve the sustainability so that our generation, the future generation, and the future generations to come can live on the planet sustainably. Thank you very much. We are just going to play the video. The 2nd October celebration that we are doing today is the third in the series, and we have had a wonderful celebration in 2018. We made one Guinness World Record. In 2019, it was even bigger. About 9.25 lakh students joined the celebration on the 2nd October and learned how to make solar lamp. And today is the third in the series. So let us have the look at the glimpses what happened in the last 2nd October events.
Thank you, sir. I hope you all had a very nice view of what we did in the last 2 years. Going ahead, I would again request Professor Solanki to continue with his session and throw more insights and light on the current world and India energy scenarios, followed by dimensions of climate change. Over to you, sir.
All right. Let us, when we are talking about energy, I think it is very important to know the world scenario. You know, what is happening in terms of the energy? Are we consuming more, consuming less? What kind of energy is we are consuming? So I'm going to take you through the scenario of the world. And as I told that the energy is everything and everything is energy, and every minute of our time and every square inch of space that we are living, we consume energy, right? So everywhere we are dealing with the energy, and as a result of that, it is very important to know more about it, what is happening. Now, the energy is important, and why we are consuming more and more energy, because all our social parameters and the economic parameters and indicators are connected with energy. So the image on the screen shows you that how 17 sustainable development goals. So energy affects each of our social and economic indicators. For example, this chart suggests that because of the use of energy, we can mitigate or we can decrease the poverty, we can increase the health, education, increase the economy, and even increase the global peace. So energy is a very important driver of our life, but at the same time you see that because of the energy there is a climate change. How do we tackle this opposite problem? Let us try to understand. Let us look at our energy resources. Where all this energy that we use in our daily life comes from. You know that we use energy from the coal, oil, gas, basically the fossil sources as one of our major source of energy, but also we use energy from the wood, we use energy from the biomass, hydroelectricity, even the other renewable energy sources like nuclear and wind. All this energy put together forms our total primary energy supply. So our total primary energy consumption of the world is about 13,865 million tons of oil equivalent per year. And for those who do not know, 1 ton of oil equivalent is 11,630 kilowatt hour. That's a lot of energy that we consume in the world. In terms of electricity, it is 161,000 billion units of electricity that we consume in a year all over the world. So all these sources, if you look at how we are consuming these sources, and over a period of time, the use of coal, oil and gas is increasing and increasing. Today, the contribution from these three sources is about 80%. So 80% of world energy requirements today are being fulfilled using the coal, oil and gas. And that is the problem of the world, because each time we use fossil energy, it also results in emission of carbon dioxide. And carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas which results in a global warming. So this chart makes it clear where the energy is coming from. So look at the percentage of oil, 34%, the gas 24% and the coal 27%. If you put them all together, it comes to the 85%. So 85% of total energy comes from the fossil fuel. And as I said, every time we use this, it results in carbon dioxide emission, and therefore there is a global warming. Now this is the incoming form of energy, but what happens to that? So we process in between, and eventually the energy gets utilized in various form, which is shown here in this pie chart. Now sector wise final energy consumption, look at here. So we consume this energy in industry, in transportation, in residential. These are our three, and the commercial, these are our four main sector we consume. So if any one of you want to save energy, you know which area you need to save the energy, where there is a maximum consumption. So look at now this, that this fossil reserves, how much time they are going to last. So the use of fossil energy not only results in a climate change, but there is also limited quantity available. So whatever is our current consumption, if you divide it by the whatever is the total resources available, if you divide by the current consumption and you add the growth in the consumption that is taking place, you will realize that the coal will only last for 78 years, oil will only last for 39 years, and natural gas will only last for 34 years. So not only the fossil energy is polluting, but it is also limited in time, and therefore we must look at the alternative use of energy, and that is mainly the solar energy. So I'll continue making my presentation on the other side. I think we are a little late. Next we are going to listen to Licypriya. So I hand over to Swati.
Our next speaker for today's session is one of world's youngest climate activists, Miss Licypriya Kangujam. She is a child environmental activist who attended the United Nations Climate Conference 2019 held in Madrid, Spain. She raised concerns to the world leaders to take immediate climate actions. Also, Miss Licypriya has turned 9 today. I take this opportunity to wish you many happy returns of the day on behalf of everyone present here on how youth can be on the forefront of the fight.
Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Licypriya Kangujam. I'm 8 years old. I'm an Indian climate activist and the founder of the Child Movement. Thank you so much, Energy Swaraj Foundation, for inviting me here to speak in this program. Coronavirus is the testing time for our leaders and human beings. 2020 is a very crucial year to decide the future of our planet. But due to this COVID-19, it weakened our movement, but not our spirits. I had to cancel lots of my planned schedules, events, programs, activities, campaign, etc. But I still continue to plant trees nearby roads, places to my home. It's really hard to manage these lockdowns. People always tell me that you are too young to get involved in such activism, but I prove them that age doesn't matter. People always tell me that you are too young to get involved in such activism, but I prove them that age doesn't matter to make a difference. I'm big or small, it doesn't matter. I am a girl child. I'm strong, smart, intelligent, and brave. Many children and youth inspire from me. You can just see in Delhi how air pollution is so dangerous, and even children can't move out of the home. I am worried about the health of the school children and small babies. Government announced that there would Government announced that there would be holidays for 3 days, again for 5 days, then this, etc. But this is not the solution. Our leaders are just busy in blaming each other instead of finding a long-term solution. We are just saying the speech, they are not doing any action. I want our world leaders to do more action. Otherwise, our future and our planet would be dying soon. They must act now to save our planet and our future. You can just see in Arctic and in Himalayas how icebergs are melting twice as fast than ever before. I'm worried about the future of our planet, and many biodiversity hotspots become climate hotspots now. I think you all heard in the news about Australia bushfire, California wildfire, Amazon rainforest fire, and Siberia forest fire. More than 1 billion animals has died, millions of trees has gone. I'm really very sad. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't even take my food. Many children lost their homes, but this is the real effect of climate change. Our leaders don't have time to listen to us. Why they don't hear all our voice, but this is the real climate emergency. They must act now to save our planet and our future. Today, I want to share something with everyone living in this world from my little heart. We all know we are facing a pandemic on one side and flood, drought, heat wave, cyclone, etc. on another side. Now, this is the time to wake up. This is the time to open up your eyes. This is the time to send your children and grandchildren to fight for their survival and for their own. The best gift parents can give to their children is not a beautiful house, expensive cars, lots of money. The best gift you can give to your children is a beautiful planet. To give this planet, you have to empower yourself. If you can empower yourself, then you can empower your family. If you can empower your family, then you can empower your neighborhood. If you can empower your neighborhood, then you can empower your community. If you can empower your community, then you can empower your state. If you can empower your state, then you can empower your country. If you can empower your country, then you can empower the whole world. Empowerment means independent. Independent means freedom. Freedom is when you can protect your land and environment. Freedom is when you can protect your children's future, culture, and health. Freedom is when no one can discriminate you on the basis of caste, creed, color, sex, or any other differences. Freedom is when you can read and write. Freedom is when you are out of hunger. Freedom is when we are all together in this fight. Fight for your freedom. Thank you, Jai Hind, Sanaliba Manipuri. Thank you once again. Uh, Now today, I will take a pledge with you all for non-violence to environment on International Day of Non-Violence. Please repeat after me. Today, on International uh, can you all on your speaker? Okay. Today, on International Day of Non-Violence, I humbly stand here with a solemn pledge to protect, preserve, and nurture our environment for a gratifying present and green future. To be conscious of my action do not cause harm to our nature. To show courage, to speak up condemning action that damage our environment, to be compassionate, responsible global citizens, to ensure coexistence of all living beings in the world. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Licypriya, for being with us. So nice of you, and we give you best wishes for the work that you have been doing. I hope you'll continue to inspire millions and millions of children all around the world, and particularly within the country, so that we can all work and help children like you to make your own future sustainable, and we will also benefit in the process. So thank you very much once again from all the participants. Wish you very happy birthday, and
Thank you, sir.
thank you very much. So before I go to the next, let me continue with what I was talking about, the energy scenario of the world. And the Indian energy scenario is actually similar, that within India also, there is a lot of energy that we use comes from the coal, oil, and gas. Almost 81% of energy that we consume comes from the coal, oil, and gas. So that's not a problem. That another problem that is there, that India is not rich in these energy resources, and therefore we end up importing this. We import almost 85% of energy that we consume. 85% of the crude oil that we consume, we import about 30% of the coal that we consume, and we import about 30-35% of the natural gas that we consume. So not only that these resources are harmful for the climate, and we every time we use it results in carbon dioxide emission, but we have to also spend a lot of money importing these resources. And whatever is the net export of India, all the goods and services that we export, about 50% of that dollar that we earn is spent in importing energy. So therefore, India is in a way poor in terms of their energy resources. You have to import, including the coal, oil, gas, even the nuclear fuel. And therefore, it is very important from the security of the country perspective, from the sovereignty of the country, that we become Atmanirbhar, that we become independent. And this independence from import is going to be a very powerful tool any country or anybody can have. Unfortunately, the fossil energy is not distributed evenly, and therefore many other countries do depend on the import of energy. And therefore, if there is a one strong concept that is available today where the whole world will benefit, that is going to be the concept of Energy Swaraj. Becoming Atmanirbhar, or independent in energy, is a very powerful tool that any country can possess, any society can possess, and you and me as individual can possess. Why we have to do it? Because even if you use carbon fuel. We dig carbon fuel from beneath the ground. We consume the carbon fuel. We burn it in our engines in the vehicles. We burn it in the form of LPG. We burn in the power plant for generation of electricity. And after deriving this energy, the byproduct is carbon dioxide, which is going in the atmosphere. And as Licypriya mentioned, that it is resulting in the climate change. There are a lot of activities that are happening on the planet which are of really non-desirable. For example, there are wildfires that are taking place in the forest, which are not controllable by even powerful countries like Australia and America. There was a snowfall in the desert in the Middle East last year, and the heat waves that are going in the world, and particularly in Europe. In France, the temperature last year went to 45.8 degrees centigrade. And the Venice city actually got flooded, and there was water that came in. So you see all kind of events that is taking place are very contradictory in nature. And that is why the dimensions of climate change are many. The climate change is not about just global warming, but with the global warming, many things that comes in place. With the global warming, there is already the melting of the ice in a very large quantities. Millions and millions of square kilometers of the ice has already melted. So once ice will melt, it will result in the seawater rise. And if you look at the sea water is continuously rising, and the rate at which it is rising is even increasing with time. As a result of that, if you Google search, you'll find that how Jakarta in Indonesia, the capital, is sinking. You just type Jakarta sinking, you'll find many information about it. So sea level is rising, and so now they have to spend $300 billion to shift the entire capital to some other place. Imagine the cost that we are going to bear for making the effort to save ourselves from the climate change. So that is another dimension of the climate change. That a lot of people have to migrate from the coastal area. What else will happen? The food productivity will go down. The yield of the crop production will go down, by 5%, 10%. So though one side population is increasing, on the other side, the food yield will go down. So what else will happen? The global warming is taking place, and therefore there will be floods. The very high precipitation of water take place, and there will be floods in some places, and in some other places there will be droughts. So these are all various dimensions. The other dimension, I must say, that the disease spread will be much faster in the warmer climate. So it is not about the global warming. We are actually looking at the multi-dimensional problem in front of us. And the time is really not far away. Though when we talk about climate change, we are talking about 1.5 degrees centigrade. The climate scientist tells us that we should limit the global warming to 1.5 degrees centigrade. And earlier there used to be report that we will hit 1.5 degrees centigrade by 2040. Then the report came that we'll hit by 2030. And the last month, WMO, the World Meteorological Organization, brought the report. It says that we should limit that one of the next 5 years will have 20% chance to be 1.5 degrees centigrade warmer. So the problem is right in front of it, is knocking the door, and we are running out of time. We are completely out of time. And that is why, considering all the multi-dimensionality of the problem that is on our door, we all must take immediate and drastic steps. Take a note of this word. IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, has been talking that we need to take immediate and drastic efforts. Small efforts are not going to work. And that is why in Energy Swaraj Foundation, we are asking people to surrender electricity connection and switch 100% to solar energy, so that we can take that immediate and drastic effect that is required. So I hope it is clear to all of us that the energy, we depend a lot on the import. We result in a lot of pollution, the climate change, and the solution requirements are to be immediate, and we must take a very strong impact. And that is the importance of the seminar like today, that why the youth are important for this country all over the world, for the global, for this country and all other country, why we have to become locally independent in terms of our energy consumption, how the Gandhian philosophy that there is only enough for everybody's need, not for the greed, is so important in today's world. How that we need to localize all this thing, I think is coming together. I hope all the youths who are listening to this workshop today would get inspired and encouraged, that not only that they need to understand what is happening, how their future is going to be affected, but they must be ready to take strong actions, first to begin with by themselves within their own life, and then spread to the society. So as there was a pledge that we will stand for the climate change, will stand and do our actions to protect the climate change, let us do that in our daily life and start from today. So with this, once again, thank you very much. And I will hand over to Swati.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for the powerful and insightful session that you took. It is a request and an apology to the audience due to the technical glitch that you guys have been facing. As requested by a lot of people, we will be releasing the video after the session is over, and you'll all have access to this. We apologize again for the technical glitch. Moving ahead, all our speakers have been stressing on how it is important for the youth to take up an active role in mitigating climate change. And to do so, we have to provide them the guidance and opportunity to do so. Our next speaker for this is going to be Professor Sahasrabudhe, who is the current chairman of All India Council for Technical Education. I request Professor Sahasrabudhe to announce the internship opportunities in solar and let our audience know how they can play an active role in making India Atmanirbhar in energy. On the other side of the video, sir, over to you.
So just hold on. We are playing the video. Uh, Professor Sashrabudhe, you can start now.
Yeah. So, namaskar. Good morning to all of you. Thank you,
Namaskar.
Swati and Dr. Chetan Singh Solanki for inviting for this very important Student Solar Ambassador program, which you are launching today. And I'm very glad to be associated with this. We have amongst us Dr. Anil Kakodkar, one of the finest nuclear scientists and also former chairman of Atomic Energy Commission. I just saw him, he had joined already. And earlier we had Dr. Vijay Raghavan, who already spoke about the energy and the needs that we need to do, how we need to go forward. And most interestingly, very young child activist, Licypriya Kangujam, who not only spoke eloquently, but also gave us the pledge to be energy swavalambi. That is very, very important. And today is the birth anniversary of two of the great leaders of our country, Sri Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, whom we call Mahatma Gandhi, as well as one of the prime minister, second prime minister for the man, Lal Bahadur Shastri ji. See, both of them were born on this day on 2nd October, and today is 151st birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi ji, and his talk about Satya, Ahimsa, Sadhapan, Swachhata, Swavalamban. I think all of them were as relevant in 1940s as they are relevant today in after independence in 75 years of our time. And from time to time, all of us have been talking about Mahatma Gandhi's famous statement that we have enough for everyone's need, but not for even one person's greed. I think that is very, very important. And to become Swavalambi, to become Atmanirbhar, I think we must start from first principles, from ourselves. And the way the life was led by Mahatma Gandhi himself or even Lal Bahadur Shastri. I think they are our great leaders who really taught us what to do. And on this occasion, when we are announcing Student Solar Ambassador Program, Solanki has been all the time taking care of solar energy as one of the footprints for our country. Global Student Solar Assembly by millions of students over the last 3 years he has been doing. And we want to increase this in terms of a grand, our internship program. So we do have internships which have been made mandatory by All India Council for Technical Education. But how do we take it forward in the energy sector? That is very important. And all of us are aware that one of the goals of the United Nations amongst the 17 SDGs is number 7 is about energy. And most countries do not have fossil fuel. They all import. And for our own country, about 50% of what we export needs to be imported in terms of only oil. Then we are left with nothing for other purposes. And therefore, I think becoming self-reliant in terms of energy is very important. I'm aware, despite Dr. Kakodkar being part of the nuclear energy initiatives, we are aware that that cannot solve the whole problem. So even he talks about solar energy in most of the fora. And today he's here amongst us, and surely subsequently he will speak about how we need to take forward to become Swavalambi in not only energy but in all sectors. Our Prime Minister is also talking about Swavalamban or Atmanirbhar Bharat, and the grand solar alliance of all the countries of the world. That is what he is talking about, is also equally important. And in this respect, little bit what AICT has been doing in terms of internships and the initiative taken up by Chetan Singh Solanki for propagating this idea amongst the youth, because they are the future. And that's why his journey of next 11 years in a bus with all the gadgets of solar energy, so that that is not only popularized, but people are made aware. I think that is the most important thing. And I remember now again Schumacher's famous statement, small is beautiful in some sense, that these solar lamps which he makes students to assemble in the large playground on 2nd October and many other occasions, millions of them are trained. I think at the local level, where the grid has not reached or it is unstable, I think the only source of energy or electricity or whatever you say, bulb for burning in the evening for studying for such children is nothing but solar. And that's why solar energy is one of the most useful, powerful ways of becoming self-reliant. And India has also its own goals of becoming self-reliant as much as possible through solar energy. As far as I said, several initiatives taken, I would like to reflect only 2 of them. We have made internship mandatory for every student from multiple aspects. First thing is, many industries often say that students get theoretical knowledge in the colleges and universities, but they hardly know the practical part of it. And that's why going to the industry, whether it is large, small, whether it is going to the startups, whether it is going to the villages and seeing the challenges that exist there and trying to solve them, is a very important thing, and we have made it mandatory. Minimum 6 months out of the 4-year program, they must spend in the internship. And that is where the connect between what Chetan Singh Solanki is doing and AICT is doing, that matches. And that's why I want all of our students also to take cue from this and start participating in this grand alliance between AICT, IIT Bombay's Solanki. I'm aware the director, Dr. Subhasish Chaudhary is also here with us, and many of their students. For example, Anil Kakodkar, he is also visible here to me, and he has been an intern in AICT and MHRD for quite some time. And such youth. Yeah, I think.
Sorry.
No, the internship opportunity that is going to exist is already launched. So I think people are aware of this, and most of our students from engineering colleges, I'm aware more than 15,000 students have joined today on various platforms to see what is happening in this particular program. So all of them will certainly join into this great movement, which is the need of the hour. Secondly, coming to Indian knowledge systems, fortunately, the Ministry of HRD then and now Ministry of Education has already set up a division in MHRD, MOE, in AICT called Bharatiya Jnana Parampara. I think what Gandhiji said all the time is nothing but getting our Ramarajya, right? There's true Ramarajya, the self-sufficient villages. I think all of that is possible provided we really go back to the roots. From ancient times, whatever knowledge we had, we must not only practice, reinvent, do further research in those domains so that truly we become Atmanirbhar in not only energy but all sectors, whether it is in education, healthcare, whether it is transportation, whether it is in terms of providing jobs and opportunities, startups, and that is where the education should lead to. So, congratulations, Solanki ji, and your entire team at IIT Bombay, who have been sort of inspiration for the youth. And I think your 11-year journey, I wish all the very best for that when you start this particular journey and go to villages, nooks and corners of the country, including the northeast, Jammu Kashmir, all the places in the country which are in many ways deprived. And that's why I think this journey is going to be very, very useful. Congratulations and thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Sahasrabudhe, for encouraging the participants and also providing them with an opportunity to shape up their careers. Dear participants, the details of the internship will be available on our website, and the links will also be sent out to you in the post communication that will follow after the event. We encourage you to participate and gain some industrial knowledge through these internships. Once again, thank you to the AICTE for coming up with such an opportunity. Thank you, everyone. And thank you to the chairman as well. Thank you, Professor Sahasrabudhe. Moving ahead, let us start with first competition of the day. We have all been waiting for one of the competitions that have been announced. To begin with, let us start with the slogan competition on climate change. Slogans ready. The link to paste the same will be displayed on the screen now. You'll have a 10 minutes window during the event. However, in case you're not able to submit it due to any reason, the links will be open post the event and will also be sent out to you over email and SMS. Can we please have the link on the screen? And let us all start the 10 minutes timer now. running a little late. We will now stop it here. However, the links will be open post event. They'll be available on our website in the YouTube description box and sent out to you post event as well. May the best slogan win. These slogans, when selected, will be used through our entire campaign, and the 5 best slogan will be awarded with a prize money. Let us now move on to the next session. We have a very special note from Director IIT Bombay, Professor Shubhashish Chaudhary. Since he couldn't join us live today, he has sent a special recorded message. On the other side of the video, we will play his message on the role of education institutes in spreading awareness around energy and climate change. Can we please have the AV?
Dr. Kakodkar, Professor Solanki, and other distinguished members, listeners who are all across the globe on this virtual platform. It's a great honor for me to come on this stage to talk about a certain concept brought in by one of the greatest sons of India, whose birthday happens to be today. Mohandas K. Gandhi, popularly known as Mahatma Gandhi. We are celebrating today the end of a 2-year-long special program called 150 Years of Mahatma Gandhi. A person who dedicated his life not only for the freedom, that is the independence of India, but also for socio-cultural upliftment. A person for whom the human value is supreme. The person who gave up everything to hold on to his own value system. A person who understood the value of sustainability and environmental requirements that one has to follow in order to live and let live others. Although in his life, Mahatma Gandhi did not use terms like sustainability or other, environment, but he is a person who actually showed us how to live a life. He told us that nature has given us for all of us to meet the needs of everybody, but not to meet the greeds of everybody. We are talking about the sustainability with respect to the energy ecosystem that the entire country is facing today. Today, if you look at the growth of India, the development, we do need a lot of energy. Most of the world, all over the world, I think the average energy usage is about 3,000 units per year per person. Whereas for India, we are roughly about half of that level. On the other hand, even if you look at China, it's about 1.5 times that. And of course, if you look at US and some of the European countries, it's a lot more. So when you need so much of energy, how do you get that kind of energy? Where do you get the power? Of course, we have been using various sources of producing energy. Today, we talk about one special one, which is one of the most common and abundantly available, is the solar energy. And this particular energy today in India, it's about the total installed capacity for the solar PV is about 30 odd gigawatt, and it meets roughly around 3.5% of the energy needs of India. We need to take it to the next level. In our campus at IIT Bombay, we have an installed capacity of something like 1.5, 1.3 megawatt, which actually, so in the campus we meet roughly about 6% of our energy demand through our own solar cells, which are installed at various places inside the campus. But is that good enough? Of course, we need the country to develop, and that would require a lot more energy. But remember that today we're talking about the advancement in all aspects of science and technology, where the energy conversion, the efficiency is not only much higher, but also many things can be done at a much lower energy level. For example, I give you a long time ago when the steam engine was invented by James Watt, the energy efficiency was only about 2%. But today, we see that what kind of changes it brought to the entire world. And we need to, of course, upgrade our developmental status, the different kind of needs of the society to bring everybody on board. So what we need to do is to not only increase the renewable energy, particularly the solar cells, so that we could be more Atmanirbhar or self-reliant in this particular aspect, but also plan on developing system that runs on a much more energy efficient way. We're happy to note that our government of India has prioritized the usage of solar energy on various aspects, whether they're off-grid or whether they're put on the grid. And the kind of things that Professor Solanki is doing is to even go at a one level down, which is to help places and the remote places where solar lanterns and others can help for many people to do a certain, at least basic things done even at night or in the evenings, like studies and few other things. Friends, today is a special day when we must take this pledge that how can we actually use in our own life more and more such renewable energy for the upliftment of our country, for the betterment of our country. And with that pledge, when we actually meet the demand of the nation, I think the purpose is served. We should definitely look forward to those days when we'll be fully energy reliant based on reliable, renewable energy. And that would be our true recipe of the way of respecting the Gandhian philosophy, that it tells you that you should actually do what you preach. Friends, let us remember Mahatma Gandhi again on this special day, and let's hope for the best, not only for our country, but for the entire country. Thank you very much.
We thank Professor Chaudhary for taking out time and addressing our participants. As far as the slogan competition is concerned, we have been getting messages. Please do not worry. Post the event, links will be shared to you and you will be given ample amount of time to post your creative slogans for both the climate change as well as the solar energy theme. 5 winners in each category will be picked and these slogans will be used throughout our campaigns. Moving ahead, during the corona pandemic, we came up with a very small course of 15 steps wherein Professor Solanki had recorded a few videos to make people energy literate. The course, in very simple steps, expresses how to design your own solar system. The course was free till today, and more than 70,000 participants have been certified. More than 500 organizations had participated. For our participants, we are making the course free for another 1 month, after which the course will be a paid course. The link for this also will be shared, and we encourage you all to become energy literate. Please do participate and share your certificates once you are certified. Moving ahead, Every time solar energy is mentioned, there are a lot of questions that pop up. Is solar energy viable? Is it affordable? Will it work during monsoons? There are several myths that are surrounding solar energy. And today we have Solar Gandhi with us. Who better than him to burst these myths? So I would again like to welcome Professor Solanki to come and speak about the viability of solar energy. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Swati. I'm going to show some slides on this. All right, so as Swati mentioned, one of the bigger question that comes in people's mind, is it really viable? Can I use solar energy completely, and what will be the problem in future? What maintenance is required, etc. So I thought I would clear all those doubts as much as possible in the short time. So we have been seeing solar panels everywhere around us, right? Now, I'm sure the frequency in which you will see a solar panel is increasing as the government of India and many other countries are promoting solar in a major way. So not only that, we have the solar panels which are installed as a street light and for the water pump, for the home lighting solution, but also there are big solar power plants that are coming in the existence. And just a couple of months back, Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, has announced inaugurated a 750 megawatt solar power plant in Madhya Pradesh at a single location. So you can see the beauty of solar energy, that you can actually have a very small solar system and you can have a very large power plant also. So that is one indication that there is one indication that anybody can use solar as much as they want. Then and also the government is actually trying to go to 100,000 megawatt or 100 gigawatt of solar power in the country by 2022, which is one of the largest program of such nature in the world. So isn't it amazing times on the solar? However, many people, the common men, typically have many doubts about the solar. And some of the doubts that I have mentioned on the screen is whether the efficiency of solar panel is enough, whether there is a sufficient area on the rooftop, whether the cost of solar electricity is cheap enough, and the maintenance requirement, and what will happen in the rainy season, right? So these are some of the questions that are always there in the minds of people. And I'm going to tell him briefly why all those are actually the myths, but not the reality of the current times. So if you look at the solar radiation that is falling on the Earth's surface, is a very significant amount. All this area that you see here are the yellow area and orange area actually receives a very good amount of solar radiation, except the green very far in the north. So which means that most of the planet is having good resource of the solar energy, and typically we get about 5 kilowatt hour per meter square per day. 5 kilowatt hour is 5 units of electricity equivalent amount of solar energy. Typically we can say falls. Now two things are happening. One is the amount of PV module produced in the world have been increasing, and they've been increasing very fast. And today if we see that by 2017 and 18, the 400 500 gigawatt was the module production all over the world, and this is increasing very fast. So the on one side the research is making it better, other side the production is happening. And the important aspect that all of us are concerned is the prices. If you look at this graph, how way back in when the PV 1973 74, when the production started, the prices of the module are $100 per watt peak, almost 7,000 rupees per watt peak. Today you can get solar panels at around 25 rupees per watt peak. Isn't it amazing decrease in the prices that have happened? And therefore it is really not correct that the solar panels are expensive. Then let me come one by one to the various questions. The question number one, the solar cell efficiency is not enough, or we need further improvement. Further improvement is always going to be good, but whatever the efficiency is there in the today, you can get silicon modules commercially, which is 16 to 19% efficient. In fact, there are modules which are also 20-22% efficient, which is very close to the ideal efficiency. Ideally, we can get maximum 30% efficiency. So it is not right to say that efficiencies are less. It's very good. In fact, one of the most advanced technology that we have on the planet. The PV electricity cost, the solar electricity cost has been going down and down. There are people in the industries which are selling electricity to the government at the rate of 2.5 to 3 rupees per unit in the large power plant, even 3 to 4 rupees per unit in the small power plant. Even if you add battery in your system, your solar electricity cost will be something around 5 to 6 rupees. On the other hand, the domestic electricity rate that we pay as a consumer is in the range of 5 to 6 rupees, 7 rupees. The industrial electricity rates are in the range of about 7 to 9 rupees. So you can clearly see that the solar electricity already is much cheaper than what you can think. So it is actually a myth to know that or tell that solar energy is expensive. Next thing is area requirement. Many people feel that there is not sufficient area available. By the way, you'll be surprised to know that even if you cover 100 kilometer by 80 kilometer area of the country, any part of the country in India, you will generate enough electricity to satisfy 100% our energy needs. Now, that's not a big area compared to 3.2 million square kilometer of geographical area that we have. So even if the rooftop, if the, as I said, sunlight falling is about 5 kilowatt hour or 5 unit per meter square. So in 2 meters square, we will have about 10 units of sunlight falling. And if your requirement is like 300 units in a month or 10 units in a day, what you require is about 10 2 meters square of area. But everything is not converted into electricity. So we account for the losses and you make it about 300 square feet of area for 300 units. I will tell you more thumb rules about it later. But what I'm saying is there is always enough area available to fulfill all your energy requirement. Because the solar panel, nothing is moving, all it's a semiconductor, nothing moves, no moving part, and therefore maintenance requirement is also very, very little. And only thing that you need to do is just clean the dust on the top. So maintenance wise also it is not really much. And what happens in the rainy season, many people ask, well, if you look at the amount of solar radiation that falls during the rainy season also, and there are a lot of data that are measured over decades and decades of time, tells you that about 50 to 70% radiation still falls during the rainy season and the cloudy condition, which means that there's a drop in about 30-40% solar radiation. And if you really want your solar system to work in the rainy season also, you can add 30-40% extra panels to compensate for the rainy season also. So therefore it is myth to say that the rainy season we do not have enough generation. We can always compensate and put little bit more solar panel. So I hope this will clarify that how it is cost effective, efficiency are good enough, it is produced in a large quantity, it can be done in small and big amount, there is not much maintenance required, and even in rainy season you can generate electricity and fulfill all your energy needs. There is one campus that we have developed in Madhya Pradesh called Education Park. That campus since 2010, it's a 14-acre campus. Since 2010, it is running 100% on solar electricity without taking any connection from the grid, and it is not paying any electricity bill. All of you also can actually become independent and become a proud owner of solar energy and install and run your house completely on solar throughout the season, 12 months a year. Thank you very much. I hope it would have clarified your doubts.
Thank you so much, sir. I feel this is one of the greatest takeaway that our participants can take from this session. We not only believe that you would have busted their myths, but in turn, they will bust the myths around solar technology for all the people around them. Going ahead, the session started with relevance of Gandhian principle in today's scenario. We have a very special note from his granddaughter, Miss Ela Gandhi. She couldn't join us due to the time zone difference. However, she has sent a special note for him. I would request the AV team to play the video introduction followed by the audio sent by Miss Ela Gandhi. She is also one of the recipients of prestigious Padma Bhushan Award conferred on her by Indian government. Can we please have the AV?
Thank you for inviting me to this webinar. I am so sorry that I'm unable to participate personally in the webinar, but I think that the topic under discussion does require an insight into Gandhiji's thinking and message. So, very briefly, I want to make 3 points about what Gandhiji has taught us and what is so important for today. Firstly, I will refer to his book, The Hind Swaraj, which he wrote in 1909 in the early part of the 20th century. Today, in the 21st century, we are looking at how very important Gandhiji's messages are to humanity today. Let us think firstly about his message about railways. And a lot of people would laugh when Gandhiji said that there should be no railways and no transportation, and that people shouldn't be moving around from one place to another. The importance of that message today, when we look at the COVID-19 pandemic, we realize how important it is. And what Gandhiji said, he did say very clearly at that time that traveling around by train in congested conditions, we are transporting diseases. And today we see the reality of that. The mask, wearing of the mask, not gathering together, stopping the traveling, all those things are evident as we confront the COVID-19 pandemic. The second point that he made was about industrialization. And we see from the statistics and from information that industry uses most of the energy that is being produced by any one country. It is the large industries that pollute the environment and that use the energy resources of a country. If we go back to smaller industries, to smaller production, and it has been, said that not mass production, but production for the masses. That is what we should be looking at. So if our production is limited and not a production to make billionaires out of people, then we would see that the energy consumption would be much less, and we would be able to utilize our renewable energy instead of going for nuclear and for coal-based energy, which is polluting the world today. The third point that he made was that we as human beings need to conserve, and conservation is the most important thing. Conservation of energy, conservation of our planet, conservation of food resources, scarce resources in the world. If we look after our resources and do not plunder them, then maybe the world would be a better place. So with those 3 points, I would like to say that is Gandhiji's message, and let us take it very seriously and discuss it further in this webinar. Thank you, and I wish you all the success.
We thank Ms. Gandhi for taking out time and sending out this audio for all our participants. Moving ahead, We have two very special thumb rules that will help you calculate your solar needs for lifetime. And it will be presented to you in the coming session by Professor Chetan Singh Solanki. Can we please have the camera towards Professor Solanki? Sir, you may present the screen. Over to you.
So thank you very much once again. I hope all of you are enjoying the discussion that is going on, the need that is going on. We have learned viability of solar, but let us learn some tricks so that all of you can actually use these tricks and take one step in adopting the solar energy. I'm going to tell you the first trick, why it is important to be constrained consumer, right? I mentioned earlier, and therefore this particular trick is what I call is AMG rule, avoid, minimize, and the generate rule. And it is very simple to remember. What you need to do is 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. How and why we need to do this? Because we know that energy saved is environment saved, right? So therefore this 1/3 rule is also to do something with the energy that we need to save. Also, this brings to the whole basic philosophy of Gandhiji, which I told earlier, is that there is only enough to satisfy everyone's need, not everyone's greed. And I mentioned also that everything is finite in this world. The air, water, land, soil, forest, everything is finite, and therefore there has to be the finite consumption. That is what we already discussed. And why it is important that we have the finite consumption. Suppose if you look at, there is a very large resources available on the planet, but if you take those resources at a very high rate, it is going to last and finish very quickly. So I'm giving an example. Suppose even if you have 1 crore, 10 million rupees, which is a lot of money, and if you withdraw this money with the rate of 100 rupees per month, then the money will last 8,300 years. If you withdraw this money at 100 rupees per day, then it will last only 277 years. If you withdraw with 100 rupees per hour, it's going to last about 11.5 years. 100 rupees per minute, and it will be about 0.19 years or only 70 days. But if you withdraw 100 rupees per second, you're going to last it only for 1.17 day. What is the problem of the world today is that the rate of consumption that we are doing is a very, very high. And that is something which we cannot afford to sustain on this planet. And for example, how should we take bath? Depends on how much money we have, rather than this principle of a constrained growth. So people, if you do not have money, they will take bath in bucket. If you have a little bit more money, you take bath in shower. Have a little bit more money, you will take bath in the bathtub. And if you have a little bit more money, you will take bath in the swimming pool. So that is no idea of how to put a constraint in our consumption. And therefore, I would tell you that what you should do is 3 things. First is avoid use of energy, even if it is solar energy, because solar energy is also not without any carbon footprint. So what you should do is avoid use of energy. What can be avoided? You can actually avoid many things. First of all, very simple thing is do not switch off when things are not in use. That's very simple way to avoid, isn't it? Also, you can, in country like India and many other parts, we can avoid using refrigerator. I come from a village, and my village, many people are living without any refrigerator, but everybody has a milk. Everybody has cow and buffaloes at home. So are their milk is getting spoiled every day? Absolutely not. There are very simple tricks that you can adopt and do that. You can stop using the air conditioner, very high energy consumption from the air conditioner. And with the simple techniques of using, proper plants and shielding from the direct sunlight, you can actually live without air conditioner. I do not use air conditioner. And you can also stop using geyser, because in general, the climate is very warm in the country, and it is always good to take bath using the cold water. So basically, there are simple things you can do and avoid. And if how much you can avoid 1/3 of energy that you're using right now. And suppose your bill is 300 units per day, you can avoid 100 units and make only 200 units per day. Next thing what you need to do is minimize. What to minimize use of energy, even if it is solar energy, as much as you can. How do we minimize? Use very efficient appliances. So do the same job, like a fan runs but consumes much less energy. Then it is what we are doing is a minimizing use of efficient appliances. So for example, I'm giving 3 examples of a fan, refrigerator and air conditioner. If you use a normal fan and normal refrigerator and normal air conditioner, our consumption per month will be 16,200 and 1,200. But if you use efficient fans, your consumption of fan will go to 8 units per month, fridge will go to 120 units per month, and air conditioner will also reduce. What you can see is 1/3 of energy you can easily reduce if you go for the right appliances. So how much you can minimize? You can minimize by 1/3. So if your electricity consumption is 300, you can minimize by 100 units. So 100 units you can avoid, 100 units you can minimize. And I have done it for my own house. Look at my electricity bill. I was just noticing that way back in October 2018, my electricity bill was 1,300 rupees. And slowly we avoided and minimized things. And in May 2020, our bill was only 579 rupees. So it's very easy. You can also do the same thing. And once you do that, the last thing you can do is generate your own electricity with the solar. So you can generate and own your own solar. As I told earlier, solar has come down in terms of the prices and the technology is available, performance has improved, and you can do that. How much you can generate? The remaining 1/3 you can generate. So I hope you got this skill. 1/3 avoid, another 1/3 minimize, and the remaining 1/3 generate. You need to follow this AMG principle. And if you do not follow this AMG principle, you have to say OMG. Oh my God, solar is expensive. Oh my God, I don't have enough rooftop on my roof area. But if you follow this, then everyone can easily switch 100% to solar, become independent of the grid, become the proud owner of solar energy, and become the part of the solution and not the pollution. I hope you are going to remember this 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 rule and apply in your life. Now let me bring you to the another presentation, which is about the another rule that we must follow. And this is even more important rule. All of us, all of you can use this. Okay, so let me go to the next rule, which is, I call it 1-1-10 rule. And I promise you that if you listen to this carefully, you will all become a good expert in the solar energy. You will be able to guide yourself how much solar panel is required, how much is the cost. Isn't it great? So look at, so these are the solar thumb rule for the lifetime. If you learn this, you are going to use it for the entire life. Why we need to do that? Because energy saved is environment saved. Okay. People ask us, first of all, why such thumb rules are required? Because you, after going through this seminar, you would like to adopt solar energy. You would like to guide other people to adopt solar energy. And you do not have anybody to consult what to do. You do not know the immediate answer. And that is why I have made this thumb rules, that even if you do not have any technical background in this field, you will still be able to design your own solar system and estimate the cost. All right. What are the typical question that comes in mind? The typical question is, how many solar panels are required for my own needs, right? How much is the area required and how much is the cost? These are the typical question that all of us, I particularly face many times when I go around, and therefore this thumb rules, I call it 1-1-10 thumb rule. So how to use it? Very simple. The first one indicates the number of electricity units required per month. The next one indicates the area required in square feet. The next 10 indicates the amount of power required in terms of watt, right? So 1-1-10, one is the number of units per month, one is square feet area, and other is watt. So for example, if I need to generate 1 unit of solar electricity per month, I require 1 square feet of area and 10 watt of solar panel. Isn't it simple? Very simple. 1-1-10, 1 unit of electricity per month, 1 square feet of area, and 10 watt of power. So let us get some examples. So if you need 100 units per month, then you need 100 square feet of area and 1000 watt of power. If you have 250 units requirement per month, then you need 250 square feet of area and 2500 watt of solar power. or 439, just random number I have taken. If you have 439 units of requirement per month, you need 439 square feet of area and 4,390 watts are required. The solar panel, isn't it? So very simple, how much area and how much panel required. The next thing is, what is the cost of the system? And now that is really little difficult to answer, but I will still try to answer. So cost of the system will depend whether there is a battery or no battery, it's a small system or big system, grid connected or not grid connected. I'm giving you two scenarios as a thumb rule. What you need to do is, typically for surrendering electricity connection going 100% on solar, you need to spend about 600 to 800 rupees per month, per unit per month. So one unit required, then you need to spend about 600 to 800 rupees. If you need 100 units per month, then multiply by 100, so about 60 to 80,000 rupees. This is battery based system if you need battery. On the other hand, if you have grid connected system, you are going to use net metering, then your cost is little lower, and you need to spend 400 to 600 rupees per unit per month, right? So if your requirement is 100 unit, you need to spend about 40 to 60,000 rupees for installation of solar power. Isn't it very simple? So you can figure out how much area is required, how much power is required, and how much is the cost. In the first model, if you go surrender electricity connection, go 100% on solar, your monthly electricity bill will be 0 rupees. You don't have to pay. Isn't it amazing thing not to pay any electricity bill every month? You can do that, and that is what Energy Swaraj Foundation is recommending everyone. Surrender electricity connection, go 100% on solar. If you go to the second model, you need to still pay some electricity bill, because there are all kind of charges, so fixed charges, net metering charges, etc. will be applied to you, and your bill will never become zero. Choice is yours, what you need to do. So I hope I made it very clear to you. What is this thumb rule? So first follow AMG, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Once you do that, you fix your energy requirement, then follow 1/110. And once you do that, you can figure out your own system. And not only that, I hope after this, you are become little expert, and you can actually suggest your neighbors and your relatives how much solar panel is required, how much area is required, and how much cost is required. Thank you very much. Over to Swati.
Thank you so much, sir. I am sure this will be the first step for all our participants to switch to solar. Dear participants, while we move on to the next session, I would just like to inform you all that all the competitions that were announced today or earlier, especially the quiz, will be extended till Monday, so that all of you get enough time to participate and stand a chance to win the exciting prizes that were announced. Also, in the post-event communication, the details and the notes from the speakers will be shared with you further. We are now announcing the second slogan competition, the theme for which is solar. The link of the same will be displayed on the screen, and you're all requested to attempt and try to submit your slogans. Please make sure that you attempt it now. In case you're not able to do it, do not worry. The link for the same will be shared after the event. We will start the timer on the screen. After the link for the same is bit.ly slogan solar. Please put in your creative slogans and stand a chance to win exciting prizes, as well as become a part of our Energy Swaraj Yatra. Can we please have the AV? Let us start the 10 minutes counter for the slogan competition for solar theme. Thank you, everyone. We have started receiving the entries for the slogan competition. And for those of you who couldn't, please do not worry. The links will remain open and will be communicated to you post the event. The best entries will be selected and awarded. Also, these slogans will be used in our further communications as well. Now, we have a very special session coming up, which will be a live chat with none other than Miss Dia Mirza. We welcome Miss Mirza. She's a true beauty with brain who dons many hats. She's an actor, producer, United Nations Environment Program's Goodwill Ambassador, and UN Secretary General's Sustainable Development Goals advocate, amongst the other things. On the other side of the AV, we request Professor Solanki and Ms. Mirza to have live chat on sustainable development goals and climate change. Over to the AV team. Welcome, Ms. Mirza. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, Professor Solanki. So good to see you.
Good afternoon. So good to see you also. So,
Happy
not able to
Gandhi
see you.
Jayanti. Let me start by wishing everybody
Yeah, please.
Gandhi Jayanti. I hope we can all live
Hello, good afternoon.
because of the Mahatma, and I'm so happy we are meeting today on this very special and very important day to discuss Energy Swaraj and discuss the amazing work that you are doing, Professor Solanki. I know you're going to be asking me questions, but I would also like to ask you a few, because you lead by example and you inspire. And I think what you're setting out to do is truly amazing and a great service to our nation and our people. And I'd love to know more about it, but once you're done asking me questions.
All right. So thank you very much, Ms. Dia. It's really pleasure that you are here with us, and with about 15,000 participants that are listening right now. And it is really nice that a person of your background are actually spending so much time in bringing this awareness about the climate change, about the energy to people. So it is so nice. And I feel that I have been talking to people that we are running out of time, and of course, you know it also. And we need to really do something drastically and immediately so that we can make this planet a sustainable future. So thank you very much once again on behalf of Energy Swaraj Foundation that you are part of this webinar today. Most welcome once again.
It's my privilege.
Yeah, I would like to begin asking that you wear so many hats. You're actor, you're producer, you are promoting the climate change mitigation initiative efforts. So many things you're doing. I think it will be benefit for the audiences. How does it feel to do all kind of things, and how do you manage? First of all,
I think it's let me start by saying it is life altering to live with purpose. And I think a person like you would recognize what I'm saying deeply, because when everything that you do in life is fueled by purpose and also defined by a love, a deep abiding love for people, for the planet, you just make the time makes itself for you. I have to share a secret here, because I don't think we lay enough emphasis on this fact, Professor Solanki, but I do believe that leading a life of discipline and including meditation into our daily practice really opens up time for us. Not only does it open up time, I guess we feel the sense of time opening up because our mind becomes stiller, less cluttered. We don't feel very overwhelmed by many of the things that we experience in daily life. And I think it is that provides us a resilience and the ability to focus on what we're doing, to be able to multitask more efficiently. I also know that when we talk about climate action and we talk about the sustainable development goals or achieving any of them, one of the practices that is encouraged even with the all the sustainable daily practices is mindfulness, is meditation. Spending that quiet time with yourself, with your breath, makes a big difference. But honestly, I think more than anything else, and I would urge all 15,000 young, wonderful, dynamic people who've joined us today, would be to encourage meditation into your daily practice. Because what that does is, not only does it awaken your mind to everything that you're feeling and thinking, but it also awakens your spirit to what is happening in the world, and it makes you a more proactive citizen of the planet. Your level of empathy increases, your ability to respond to a crisis with empathy and compassion heightens, and I also think it also gives you the strength to be a part of solutions. So the joy and the pleasure and the happiness that one gets to be a part of solutions and be a part of mitigation, and be a part of a movement that desires to seek change, is what gives you, just the opportunity to make time for everything. I also think that it's very important for all of us to recognize that we are confronted by an existential crisis. Climate change is affecting all people all over the planet, but the people who are most affected are the people who belong to marginalized communities, especially in developing nations like our own. And I, for one, cannot think of living any other way but the way that I am right now. And yes, I'm an actor, yes, I'm a producer, but I choose to use my craft and what I do as a filmmaker to highlight the work that is being done and needs to continue to be done. So I really believe that cinema, the arts, are a powerful medium of expression to bring positive social change.
Well, I wouldn't agree more than what you said, that the meditation and bringing the calmness to mind is so important, that I believe that only the happy mind can do the good things, isn't it? And myself as a practitioner, I am also teacher of yoga and meditation. I'm teacher of art of living, and with the Shri Shri we have learned so many things. And I think one of the thing it's required and compulsory in my office is to be happy. So when anybody asks, how are you? Everyone in my office would respond, I'm happy. So I think that's a beautiful message that you're given, and you're using your art and craft to such an important topic that it is now existential threat. Another question that I would like to ask, that we need to really put our all efforts to be successful in sustainable development goals, and the government are doing, but I feel that somewhere it is not enough. And I would like to hear your comment. What do you think? How important it is, and in case if we fail to achieve the sustainable development goals by 2030, what do you imagine would happen?
Oh my God. uh, okay, so the unfortunate reality is that we are far behind already. We just did not mobilize enough action to implement sustainable development goals across all spheres: industry, production, consumption, everyday life. I think the sustainable development goals are a roadmap, 17 powerful solutions to achieve peace, justice, equality, and make this planet inhabitable and equitable for all living beings, right? If we had of course, many countries adopted the goals, but we did not push for enough action on the ground to start the implementation of the goals. Very, very little has happened. We would not have been confronted by this global crisis that we are right now and this pandemic if we had stepped up more efforts to implement the sustainable development goals. because one of those goals is climate action and afforestation, right? And of course,
So
ensuring. So
yeah, sorry.
if we had done more, we wouldn't be where we are. Having said that, the goals are powerful. They are the altruism that the world needs. And the remarkable thing about the goals is, yes, governments need to adopt them. Policy needs to, reflect the goals. Industries need to adopt the goals and start implementing them in the way they do business, in the way they produce, in the way they manufacture, in the way they package. But the goals are also implementable at a personal level, at an individual level. And I'm sure you agree with me, Professor Solanki, that every drop forms the ocean. I'm a very big believer that if individuals, young people, enterprising young people across the world, as they are already showing that they are adopting the goals and asking the right questions and seeking solutions, I think the Energy Swaraj Foundation is a fantastic example of how the goals can be implemented, because it doesn't matter what walk of life you belong to or what your area of expertise. All you need to do is understand what these goals are, adopt them at an individual level, and seek to find ways in which you can implement them in your daily life, in the choices that you make, in what you're creating, in what you're innovating, in what you're producing, in what you're manufacturing, or how you're consuming at an individual level. So I would like to hope fervently that the world will come together now and recognize that the goals are essential for our existence, and that we will step up action on the goals more fervently now than ever before, and we will achieve the goals by 2030, or at least make some serious headway.
Yes. So that's why I believe that, and good that you're very positive and hopeful that we will achieve the goals. We must achieve the goals. And younger generation particularly is more attentive to what is required.
Absolutely.
And we at Energy Swaraj Foundation believe that we are running really short of time. And because of that, we need to create some kind of a public movement, where we become a proud owner of a simple life. We become the proud owner of solar energy, so that we do not become part of the pollution, but become the part of the solution. At my home, Ms. Dia, you'd be surprised that we do not use any air conditioner, no refrigerator, no washing machine, no geyser, and we have also stopped using television. And believe me that we are not missing all
I'm sure
these
it's a
gadgets,
happy
we are
life.
perfectly fine.
Happy and peaceful
So
life. I always
yeah, do you try?
in my workshops with young people, I sometimes feel like the biggest lie humans have told themselves is the word convenience. Because in the name of convenience, we have created such a profound inconvenience for ourselves, which is life threatening. And this is
True.
what we seriously need to address.
Yes, absolutely. And even so, the two things now in front of the world right now: first, to comprehend and understand the scale of the problem that is there in front of us. Second thing is to take the action. And as I said, Energy Swaraj, we believe that we need to create a public movement, and your support will be required to really bring and reach out to people. Now, one of the difficulty that I see, that because of the contradictory requirement, one side we need to develop more, and therefore more energy consumption is required. On the other side, we need to deal with the climate change problem, and therefore we need to reduce energy consumption. So these are really contradictory, and I think many people are somehow not able to find the right balance between how much to consume, how much to avoid. What would you like to comment on this?
Professor Solanki, I feel like at many levels, it is also how far we can go at an individual level. Because the fact of the matter is that we've been introduced into a mindset and a certain kind of life where our understanding of what is good, what is comfortable, what is well being has really been defined by how much of a consumer we can be. And that is what creates the dichotomy and the irony, right?
Yes.
So when we think about Swaraj and we think about the simple way of life, it is not the way of life that perceivably that the capitalist world has helped us understand is a way of life that is perceived as successful. because for some reason we attribute success and well-being with money, not so much with health. And that's the dichotomy, that's the fight. Because if we have no health, there is no point of this wealth. And this inequitable life that has been created by this falsehood is what we're fighting today. Why do we want the sustainable development goals? Why are we experiencing a existential crisis? Because a very small number of people have over extracted the planet, over utilized its resources, provided to very few, and left very many far behind. And that is what we are fighting. Now, the dichotomy is glaring, and I think young people, and I feel it every single day, because, you know, I may have stopped using my air conditioner. I may turn off the mains for all my, electronics at home. I may do many things that are perceived to be leading a more sustainable lifestyle, but I haven't achieved yet what you have, right? So I think what will matter is the amount of individual action one is willing to take. But it really starts with a commitment and understanding that everything we consume, everything we use and throw every day is coming from the earth. And we need to be respectful, mindful, and regardful of that. And then find ways to reduce, refuse, recycle. And not just that, but also, I think, reimagine the way we live our lives and what is well-being.
Yes, I mean, I agree that, the kind of falsehood that is there in the society, that, the more is the better, which is actually not sustainable. And Gandhiji said very clearly that there's only enough for everybody's need, not for the greed. And he also mentioned that if you and I possess anything more than I require for my immediate need, we are stealing, we are thieving from somebody else. And it is so important that our generation at least understand this idea and start introspecting to what is required and how much we can consume. Now with this, as I told you that I'm taken a leave from IIT Bombay.
You are
and I'm going to take my Energy Swaraj Yatra for 11 years. I'm going to go by bus, and I would really seek your support, and would also, if there are any questions that you would like to put to Energy Swaraj, and eventually that we requested the solar Dia, that Ye Diwali solar Walis that we are launching, if you'd like to say something about that.
Professor Solanki, when we started out, I said this, that I have such deep regard for what you are setting out to do. Of course, the fact that you launched the Energy Swaraj Foundation, the fact that you have even, thought that you are willing to dedicate 11 years of your life to travel through the country, creating a movement and empowering individuals with the knowledge of solar engineering, solar power, teaching people along the way, empowering them with this knowledge, and giving the country what you believe is an important requisite to become energy self-reliant. And I just wanted to ask you, this campaign of surrender electricity connection and switch 100% solar energy, do you really think it's feasible? I know you live it by example, but how do you convince the world's second largest population that this is feasible? And how do you hope to make sure that it becomes available to everybody and viable for people?
I mean, that's actually $1 million question. How do we convince people that surrender electricity connection? Because, and I focus and stress on the surrender part, because if you're not going to do that, we are not going to be a disciplined user. And unless there is a discipline in consumption of anything, be it water, food, energy, we are not going to be sustainable. Now, I think, so I always thought, and what Gandhiji would have done it, in this kind of situation. He wanted to break the salt law, rather than just going and breaking. He tried to bring public along and convince them that this is very important, it is their right. Similarly, I think when we go among the people and show them the solution. So what I'm going to do, along with my bus, there'll be a truck that will move with me. The truck will have a house which can be assembled and disassembled at the site, and the house will run all appliances, whether it is TV, fan, fridge, air conditioner, even cook stove, on solar energy. So I think seeing is believing. So together with all the facts that people are experiencing in day-to-day life, together with the technology demonstration, together with the skill development, I hope that I would be able to bring successfully this message. And there'll be initially some crazy people, who will come forward and say, yes, I would like to surrender electricity connection. By the way, there are many examples already exist, and there are people, 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000, come forward and do take that as a call. And we are already seeing some examples. And I hope that when the yatra will start soon after Diwali, I hope many people will become a little crazy and adopt a solar energy solution 100%.
Oh, well, I think we all need this kind of madness. It's essential, because every time we choose to do something that is not the normal or the accepted, it's perceived as crazy. And this is the kind of madness we need. I'm very curious to
Yes.
know, where do you plan to travel for these 11 years, and how are you going to do this?
Well, as I said, the India itself is such a big platform to operate. So 11 years I'm going to be in the country, and hopefully I'll make 10 to 11 rounds. 1 year is good enough to make one round in the country. I will go to the various schools and colleges. I'm going to meet people, demonstrate technology, encourage local entrepreneur. What we are going to do is, because Energy Swaraj means buy locals for locals, we are going to enable local entrepreneurs so that they become the solution provider in their community. So the technology, knowledge, training, supply chain, even promotion, marketing, you and I, if you start talking, and other people like Amitabh Bachchan and other people start talking about surrendering electricity connection as a requirement to be self-sufficient and secure at a society level and country level, I think people will listen. So once the awareness comes, we will provide the action, we will be catalyzing the action at the ground level so that it implements, people get the service after surrendering electricity connection, and hopefully they will feel the immediate benefit of doing so.
I have
I'll be living in the bus for 11 years, and
I know, I was like, I
trying
have
to
so
prepare
many
myself
questions.
mentally. How do we do within those 100 square feet of area?
I have so many more questions connected to this, because I think it's once in a lifetime, or the first time that somebody has chosen to do something like this, and I'm sure they will be. This will be an extraordinary journey. Professor Solanki, I wish you all the best, and I promise you that I will be a part of your journey. I will find ways to highlight and share and show to everyone what it is that you're doing, and hopefully join you also in some places. I think that will be
Thank you. Nice. If you join this journey, we would definitely invite you on the flag off ceremony. We do not know where it will happen. We are trying to reach Honorable Prime Minister. If he can flag off this journey for creating a movement, I think that'll be great. Thank you so much. And if you can launch that solar, Ye Diwali solar rally and that solar Dia painting competition, that'll be great.
How else do you feel people from my community, my industry can help? I know I will reach out to all of them and tell them what you're doing, but is there anything in particular that you can think of?
I think the best example, is charity begins from home. So if some people in your fraternity starts, surrendering electricity connection, that would be awesome example to the world that yes, it is possible. And I before you came, I told and I gave actually thumb rules for the life, how it is indeed possible that, in much cheaper than what people can imagine, you can switch 100% to solar. So if you yourself, for example, if it is possible.
Start with me, Professor Solanki.
Great, wonderful, wonderful. I will.
How to become energy self-reliant.
Energy Swaraj Foundation will help you so that you become independent from the grid, and many other people also. It will be our pleasure to help you out in this.
That will be amazing. Okay, so should we launch the solar diya now?
Yeah. I don't know if you're not seen, we are not able to send it one piece to you. Will do it now. What you see in my hand is a solar diya. This is a beautiful product that our team has designed, and this is made in India. We are manufacturing in the country, and this has a solar panel on the top, and this solar panel is good enough to charge the battery inside, and this is automatic operation that whenever the sunset happens, it glows automatically and then it will switch off automatically. So I think in this COVID, when we suffered from many other things, we would like to be more indigenized and use local product. Gandhiji was all about Gram Swaraj. I think this is one thing I would like to appeal you to celebrate your Diwali with the solar Wali, and if you can kind of promote this and launch this as a solar diya competition, that'll be great.
Sure. I'm happy to announce the Solar Diya painting competition organized by Energy Swaraj Foundation. Any movement starts with small steps, and the Solar Diya is one such small step that we should take to save not only the environment but also our future on this planet. The solar diya will illuminate not only our homes but the homes of those thousands of rural women who are involved in its assembly. I think this is the most special thing about the solar diya. This solar diya is reliable and a durable product and has dusk to dawn switching. And it turns on at night, as Professor Solanki just mentioned, and automatically turns off during the day. I think that's a very, very smart solar diya.
Yes.
We would encourage all of you to paint this diya and participate, and you have a chance of winning prizes worth up to 50,000 rupees and a certificate signed by me. I take a pledge of Ye Diwali, Solar Diya Wali. How about you?
Well, thank you so much. it is so nice of you to be part. I would hand over to the Swati. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I once again thank you, Dia, for joining us today and having supported us for all this while since the last year. We hope to continue working with you together and having you on board for our future campaigns as well. Thank you for joining us once again. Thank you.
So much, Swati.
Thank you. Thank you. So, moving ahead, before we move on to our last speaker, there's a quick announcement that I would like to make. One of our speakers, Dr. Dinah, could not join us today because of a family emergency. I hope everything gets well at her end, and we will try to get a video message recorded and sent out to the participants later. Before we move ahead, I would just like to inform all the participants that we have received a tremendous response for the pre-booking of the diyas. More than 5,000 diyas have already been booked and more are being purchased. This is available on our website. One thing that I would like to inform you all is that these diyas are made by the rural women locally, including the panel, the epoxy panel that comes with it, and hence it is available in very limited quantities. This will not only make your Diwali green but also light up somebody else's house. So चलिए आप मैं सब हम मिलकर मनाते हैं ये दिवाली सोलर वाली. Now moving on to the last speaker of the day, I would like to welcome Dr. Anil Kakodkar. He is an Indian nuclear physicist and ex-chairman of Atomic Energy Commission of India. He is also the ex-director of Baba Atomic Research Center and has been awarded the second highest civilian award, Padma Vibhushan, in the year 2009. Dr. Kakodkar has been part of Energy Swaraj Foundation and has been supporting it since the inception. He launched Energy Swaraj Foundation last year on Independence Day, 15th August 2019. Sir, I welcome you on behalf of the entire team of Energy Swaraj. On the other side of the video, I would request you to address our audience on what government can do to make India Atmanirbhar in energy. Over to you, sir, after the video. Request you to unmute and please address the audience. We are all very eager to hear to you.
Well, thank you. First of all, let me compliment all of you, the entire team, for first of all running such a meaningful program for the society and for the country, and more specifically this particular event on the Student Solar Ambassador Workshop on the Gandhi Jayanti Day, 151st birth anniversary of Mahatma Ji, and talk about the role of youth in Atmanirbhar Bharat and attaining that role or attaining that objective in the domain of energy. I think the program has been very creatively designed. I've been watching it for about an hour now. And I am simply struck, not just now, but I've been watching all of you all along, by the passion and commitment towards the Energy Swaraj objectives that Energy Swaraj Foundation is having, particularly Professor Chetan Singh Solanki, who has been spearheading this movement, and his vision of 11 long years of crisscrossing this country with this message on Atmanirbhar Bharat in the domain of energy. I think it's just wonderful. I've been asked to talk about what the governments can do, and I would like to expand that a little bit, because we are talking about a major issue. It was described as an existential threat for all of us, for the world as a whole. And to tackle that, it has to be handled at many levels, certainly at the level of governments, but also at the level of societies and individuals. And it's only the sum total of this synergy between all these segments and all these levels of action that one would hope to be successful in achieving this mission. The challenge is huge. It has been mentioned already by Professor Solanki, but putting it the other way, within next 10 years, that is by 2030, we must reduce the carbon emission to 45% of the emission level in 2010. That's what IPCC says. And within next 30 years, by 2050, we have to take this world to net carbon zero. And if you do that, only then can we hope to kind of achieve this goal of 1.5 degrees Celsius warming by the year 2100 and beyond. Now, these are very difficult challenges. And as was mentioned, I think several promises have been made. At Paris, countries have made promises. Governments have been making promises and making plans. All of us as individuals, we have been making promises to others as well as ourselves. But somewhere, I think the action on ground falls short of what is required to achieve these objectives. And I think this is where Gandhiji, his teachings, his philosophy becomes important. See, Gandhi has been, for him, the last person, Antyodaya, last person has been at the focus. And unless we take that approach, it is unlikely that we will get a collective human action, collective global action of humans in a more humanistic way. To my perception, what is happening now is there is this phenomena of might is right, which is functioning everywhere. It could be in the context of physical or military might. It could be in the context of money or economic might. It could be in the context of political might, vote bank might. In villages, you see that mights getting manifested in variety of ways. And so I think we can imagine ourselves. We are all human beings compared to any other living species on this earth. And the difference between those living species, or shall I call them animals, and humans, is that human beings are able to think. Now, that thinking adds to their might, that thinking also adds to their enlightenment. Now, it's a moot question where how much of that thinking has enlightened the world and how much of that thinking ability has enlightened individuals and the world at large to address the issue. And I think this, to me, is at the heart of this problem that the world is facing. So there are lots of lip services, but I think there is only one Chetan Singh Solanki who has said that, well, I will now enough of this professorship. I will actually take this knowledge to people and live that knowledge by example, which people can see. Now, that is the significance of Gandhi Jayanti or doing this event on the Gandhi Jayanti day. So I want to congratulate all of you, particularly Professor Solanki, for doing this. I have, Professor Solanki knows, maybe many of you also know, I compare your solar light as equivalent of charkha of Gandhian times. If you're talking about Grama Swaraj or the economic liberation of villages, charkha was a symbol appropriate to that time when Gandhiji lived. Today, energy has become a big challenge. And if you're talking about energy Swaraj, I think solar light is the symbol and it conveys that meaning. And I think we should take this in all seriousness. Now, as I said earlier, this we need to do at all levels. So if you start with the individual level, this movement of becoming energy independent and deciding to generate your own energy to meet your needs is you are liberating yourself in that context. And so this movement is wonderful. As was being talked about earlier, carrying this message and convincing everybody to kind of take that message into their life is of course going to be a challenge. But I'm sure when you live by example, it becomes little easier to convince people of that challenge. But I think it has to also, the thing should not end there. Whatever has to be done at individual level must be done. Decentralization is extremely important. But we need to do that at the level of society, in this context, at the level of industry. We need to do that at the level of state governments, at the level of central governments, and at the level of the world as a whole. And so I think we must expand this into the so-called sustainable clean energy movement, because I think that is what is required for saving this entire earth. You won't find every problem to be solved by a single track mind or a single track approach, but approaches which are consistent with the basic logic, basic philosophy of achieving energy self-reliance for the world as a whole, for the earth as a whole, are, I think, we need to be pursued. And I think the message that goes around should be comprehensive in that context. So, dear friends who are all in this conference, I think Professor Chetan Singh Solanki has shown by his example, he is going to continue the path of outreach and reaching to everybody. I think all of us, I think it is incumbent on all of us to do our bit in whatever we do. Well, first of all, begin with ourselves, but also in whatever we do, that the teachings of Mahatma Ji, they are kind of, we have gone, we have gone through this COVID and the serious challenges it created. That's the last point I'm making. Uh, we saw a very severe distress migration of people, poor people, and also not so poor people, but daily wage earners in cities rushing back to their villages and wanting to even, in desperate rush back to villages. Many of them decided to resort to walking for thousands of kilometers. There have been some deaths, some casualties. Why does this distress occur in the society? And I am fully convinced that distress occurs because we have departed from the path shown by Mahatma Ji. See, we have, in the name of development, we reach instabilities. In the name of development, we create disparities. In the name of development, we actually think we are solving a problem, but create more problems. And so I think there is a need, since we are talking on Gandhi Jayanti Day, there is a strong need to re-examine ourselves, re-examine our policies, and of course, revisit Mahatma, all his teachings, and create a more humane, more sensitive, a more balanced world with minimum or no disparities and a sustainable earth, or the philosophy that we have, Vasundhara is for all of us, and we are all part of the same family, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So thank you so much, and all the best to all of you.
So thank you very much, Dr. Kakodkar. It is always an honor and pleasure to hear you. It is so kind of you to compare our solar lamp with the Gandhiji's charkha. You have done it again, and calling about this surrender electricity connection as a kind of a liberating for individuals as well. I think these are really a very kind word and guiding word, and hope the Energy Swaraj Foundation, with everyone's support, will be able to create a public movement, the Swaraj movement, so that we can really create a world which is sustainable and based on the Gandhian philosophies. I completely agree with you that all this distress happens because we moved away from what Gandhiji proposed, and I think it is really high time to come back home, become simple, and follow his ideologies, so that we can again have a very peaceful, equitable society, and also sustainable with the centuries and centuries to come. So thank you very much for joining us, and over to Swati.
Thank you once again, Dr. Kakodkar. It is always a pleasure to hear you, and we are blessed to have your support and guidance as always. Before we move on to the next session, that is wrapping up the today's event, I would like to apologize to all the participants for whatever technical glitches that have happened. We are a very small team with very limited movement right now, and we tried our best to do whatever to make this event successful. However, we understand that a lot of things did not go as planned. However, one thing that I can promise you all on behalf of the entire team is that we will ensure that all the recordings, the competition guidelines, etc., are passed on to you immediately after the event. Also, all the competitions will stay live till the coming week so that you all have ample time to participate. I apologize once again. Before we move to the vote of thanks, I would like to present. Before we move on to the next session, I would request Professor Solanki to introduce the Team Energy Swaraj Foundation to you all. Can we please have the video and, sir, at the end, a few words of encouragement for the team from your end? Passing on to Dr. Solanki. Can we please have the AV?
So, Dr. Kakodkar, we were supposed to have the lucky draw, but many people could not write the quiz, which is one of the requirement for the lucky draw. Then we are postponing it a little bit. More people are now writing the quiz, and once enough number of people participate, then we will announce and we'll let you know. So this all the wonderful work that you see, only me on the screen in Swati, but there is a very hard-working, very dedicated team which is behind the all this work that you see, and whatever work that we have been doing in the past, and even this event is only possible because there are bunch of crazy people associated with Energy Swaraj Foundation, and because of their hard work and dedication, we always kind of be able to do something which is we're doing. So the people you see on the screen, this is Madhu. She takes care of many things at the foundation. A lot of organization is done by her. And this is Amrapali. Amrapali, also like Madhu, is working and calling people, bringing them on board, explaining things. And Siddhi is our Chuparustam. She is behind many things. One of the things she is responsible is for procurement. Sneha is also helping the team to reach out to people, as many people as possible, talk to them, explain the process. And this is Kashyap. Kashyap is our engineer who is taking care of the training preparation at the large scale. How do we do that? Rakesh is our technical person, and he helps implementing things in the field and is very good with the hands-on experience. Gopal is our all-rounder. He takes care of many things, right from the office work to technical work to any other. Just give him a task and it will be done. Manoj is our graphic designer, and all the creatives that we see, the video that we see, comes from directly from the Manoj. Nisha is taking care of the calendars and events that is taking place and manages the whole thing. Makarand is our finance person. All the money is in his hands. He takes care of the accounting for the foundation. And Mayur is a person who is looking after the Energy Swaraj ashrams and clubs, and he coordinates with the local institutions. Jagdeep is our person who works for the website design and maintenance and takes care of it. Vishnu is Dr. Vishnu Bajpayee is the person, technical person. He takes care of the design of the training as well as products. Shailen has been promoting the solar activities in the UP and solar diyas and solar lamps. This is Pawan, our technical person. Takes care of the design of the products and bringing into the market. This is Dr. Srivastav, recently joined, young at heart and very dedicated for the cause. Harshad is the person who not only does the technical thing but also ensures that the things are procured and supplied in time. And Nikita is the person responsible for dots and commas, but she takes care of me completely and the research activities in the foundation. And finally, the Swati, she is the CEO of Energy Swaraj Foundation and manages the entire show under the foundation activities. For taking part in today's webinar on the role of youth in attaining Atmanirbhar Bharat in energy, we heard from all the speakers saying one thing, that yes, it is the need of the time and it is really required. I hope all of you who have been participating also would have understood how immediate and urgent it is to actually adopt to something like Energy Swaraj. I recommend that you all be connected with the www.energyswaraj.org, the website, All the competitions are there, as Swati mentioned, live. You can continue to take part. If you're watching this on the YouTube, and if you're not subscribed to YouTube channel, please do that. We are going to bring a lot of news and knowledge on our YouTube channel. The Solar News and Knowledge is the name of the channel. And do support, even the funds are required for the foundation. So if you can contribute and donate for the activities of the foundation, please go to the website www.energyswaraj.org/donate, and you can make your donation contribution also. With once again, let us remember the Mahatma Gandhi, the father of nation, who has given such wonderful ideals that if we follow that, we can not only be convenient outside, but will be convenient inside in the heart, and we will be in the balance with the nature, so that we can make a sustainable future for everyone. So once again, let us remember on this Gandhi Jayanti, the Mahatma and his messages to all of us, and hopefully all of us will adopt. So in the closing, I would once again request all of us to let us pray for a minute. We can all close our eyes and chant Om 3 times, and after that we'll say bye bye to you. So close our eyes. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. With the gratitude to Mahatma Gandhi, let us breathe in and chant Om. Om. Breathe in. Om. Breathe in. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So with this note, thanks again, everyone. It has really been a pleasure for me and my team to be interacting with you. And I'm sure this is only the beginning. When the times to come, we will interact more and more till we make our India our